You guys today from Joshua Tree, California. I am standing on the edge of a cliff right now, so we'll see what happens. Probably it won't fall off if I end up posting this, but if I do, so be it. So hello everyone. I just wanted to come to you guys with, just one final message as we close out 2025 and enter 2026. What a year 2025 has been. I cannot believe we are entering 2026 now. What not a more peaceful ending than this of 2025. But today I just wanted to come on here and just share something personal and a milestone that I have, finally achieved and on my ascension journey. And that is today. I'm actually 4 years sober. And I got sober when I was 16, after going through some challenging times. And, 4 years ago today, I had to make probably the biggest decision I ever would have to make in my life. And I had to choose, okay, do I want to die? Because I was going to die, right? Like being dependent on certain things, like you're not gonna live that long. Or am I going to wake the fuck up? And I chose to wake the fuck up, get sober, really start this ascension journey that I've been on. And I'm so grateful that I made that decision. That decision was probably the best decision I would ever have to make in my life. I made that 4 years ago. And, over the past 4 years, I really call like sobriety just like a foundation. I got my foundation just from being sober, right? That's only about 5%, right? Only being sober is about 5% of this like ascension journey. All the other bits and pieces are that inner healing, right? That inner work, getting to the root, getting to the darkest trauma, tapping into some past life stuff, working through a lot, right? That's the nitty-gritty work. That's the essential work, especially as on this ascension journey. You gotta really dig deep. You gotta get to the nitty gritty. You gotta get as far down as possible to heal what we need to heal, to have that divine connection to source, to wake up and to, ultimately just use the resources, right, from within, because ultimately the healing's from within, right? That inner work sets that channel to source to then, manifest your dream life, right? I wasn't able to manifest my dream life when I was doing what I was doing. I was very lost. And I'm just so grateful that I made that decision. So I'm not even going to get too deep into that. I just wanted to share that as it's like a big milestone for me in my awakening journey. Getting sober at 16, definitely not a normal teenage experience, right? Like having a spiritual awakening. Like spiritual awakenings are not easy, guys. Spiritual awakenings are not linear. Spiritual awakenings are not rainbows and butterflies. Like sometimes you got to get very close to death and very close to just in the darkness, right? Like having that dark night of the soul. Very, very, very deep shit, right? And you got to have that sometimes to wake up. And I'm just so grateful I did. I'm so grateful that I healed what I had to heal. And I've never thought I would get to this point, right? 4 years sober at 20, like that's not that common. And a lot of the times people get stuck, especially going through like that type of stuff at a younger age. They get trapped in the rehabilitation MK Ultra program systems. They get trapped in that system, right? They end up dying young or just, going off the rails and eventually dying, right? So like, I know I was contracted to go through that type of experience to wake myself up, to have that awakening, which was wild, to then get on trajectory with my mission and what I'm here to do and just everything that I've done, right? Like 2025 was really the first year I kind of went public with what I do, with, sort of what I figured out after my awakening with what I'm able to do, right? So it's just bittersweet to see how everything sort of just like works itself out. And I would not trade this journey for anything. I am so grateful for going through everything I did, even though it was very difficult, even though it was very challenging to have gone through everything that I've gone through at a young age, to come out on the other side now. I just hope that I can really help a lot of other people, especially people maybe in their 20s or just some younger people, realize that like sometimes it's shitty now, but ultimately that doesn't mean it stays shitty forever. Like once you have that awakening, once you look within, right? A substance cannot replace that divine connection to source or to God or whatever you label it as. A substance, something outside of you, is not going to change what has to change from within. Because once everything is in order from within, that divine connection, that inner healing, right? You become unstoppable and you don't need to look for anything external when everything is just felt from within. So I wanted to share that message because it's so important. I know sometimes I say it very tough, but it's so true. And if I did not have that mentality on my journey, I would not be where I'm at now. I still would have been locked in the system. I probably wouldn't be here today, straightforward and honest, if I did not have the mentality of needing to get to the root, needing to get to that darkest, deepest trauma and really heal everything I had to heal and realize I'm the only one that can really, like, I can create my own reality. I can create the outcomes that I want, right? I have to make that decision to do that. Nothing outside of me is going to make that decision that I have to make to better myself, get on my ascension journey, except for me. And that mentality, that mindset is so important. And I just want everybody to know it's very hard, to make these decisions, but it's possible. And it is possible. And everybody has an equal chance to overcome the deepest struggles, overcome the darkest struggles, and come out on the other side. It's free will. It's knowing all of our options, knowing we could create our own reality, and making that decision that we know is going to put us on the higher timeline. So overall, that's just my message from today. I wanted to branch in sort of my personal journey, especially with sobriety and my spiritual awakening at a younger age, and sort of just put it all into one to really inspire and motivate others that it is possible. It doesn't matter how old you are. Everybody has an equal chance to really getting on this awakening journey.